Okay, now we'll see the next topic in our squares and squares, that is estimating square roots. We would first know what is the meaning of square root. Now you will understand what is squaring. Squaring means something like arithmetic. Okay, they will be giving a number and you must square that number. But the square root is the other way around. They will give the area and you must find the number. Like for example, they will give you the area of a square. Okay, something like 16. Okay, the area of the square is 16. Okay, so what is the number you must multiply by itself to get that 16? So we write it like this. The same question, it's written like this. Okay, so in other way, the same question also, what number into what number? Both are same numbers, mind you, is equal to like 16. Okay, actual question is something like this. What number into what number makes 16? The same question is written like this, under root 16. Okay, and the answer is obviously 4. It's only a simple example. Okay, so now when we go for bigger numbers, now how do you estimate that? Okay, so estimating square roots means like guessing or trying to approximate, what is that number, but when you multiply by itself, you get that given number. Okay, now usually in our school methods, there's a very long procedure to find the square roots. It's like prime factorization method or long division method. So all these things we follow, and then it becomes a bit tedious also when you apply the general school methods to find the square roots. But using Vedic mathematics, we can estimate a given square root in just about a few seconds. And mind you, first I'm gonna tell you only for the numbers which are perfect squares. Now I just explained you what are perfect square numbers. The perfect square numbers are 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, okay, and so forth. Okay, these are called perfect square numbers. Basically, squares are only for perfect square numbers only. Okay, so we'll first see the technique how to find square roots for perfect square numbers. I suggest you first learn one small table. Okay, it takes just about a few minutes to understand this technique. Okay, now the table goes something like this. Here we wrote square number ending with, and the other side we wrote square root ends with. So you all know what is square number and square root. Okay, now a number like 16 is a square number and 4 is its square root. Okay, so 16 is a square number, 4 is a square root. We need to understand that. Okay, now square numbers always end with double zero. They don't end with 1 0 or okay, they may end with many other zeros below, but at the last in the ones and tens place they end with double zero. Okay, if the square number ends with double zero, the square root ends with 1 0. For example, like 100 is a square number and the square root is 10. See, square number has 2 zeros, square root has 1 0. Okay, something like that. Okay, now square number ending with 1, if the square number ends with 1, square root ends with 1 or 9. Now 1 into 1 is 1, 9 into 9 is 81. See, 81 is ending with 1. Okay, now you must know that the square numbers do not end with certain numbers, and they are 2 and 3. You take any number and then square it, they will never end with 2 and 3. We need to know that. Okay, I'll just write here the point that square numbers don't end with 2 and 3. Okay, so next number is 4. If the square number ends with 4, square root ends with 2 or 8. Now how much is 2 into 2? You get 4. How much is 8 into 8? 64. See, number ending with 4. Okay, I'll not talk about 5 now. We'll talk about it a little later. The next number after 5 is 6. If the square number ends in 6, the square root ends with 4 or 6. How much is 4 into 4? 16. See, number ending with 6. How much is 6 times 6? 36. See, ending with 6. Now you must also know that square numbers do not end with 2 and 3, no? And also 7 and 8. Square numbers never end with 2, 3, 7 and 8. Okay, so next number is 9. If the square number ends in 9, square root ends with 3 or 7. Now 3 into 3 is 9. 7 into 7 is 49. See, 49 is ending with 9. Okay, right. Now I didn't mention about 5, okay, because square numbers never end with 5. They always end with 25. They only end in 25. They don't end with 35, 45 and 75 and 95. Square numbers always end with 25 and the square root will always be 5. So only the small table we have to commit to memory. It takes probably a span of 2 or 3 minutes to understand this. Okay. So first you accomplish learning this table. Okay. Once you commit this to memory, get back to me. I'll show you how you can estimate the square roots. Now let me show you one more square root table. Okay. Now 0 into 0 is 0. Okay. So 0 squared is 0. Now 1 into 1 is 1. 2 into 2 is 4. See, the perfect square numbers are 1 and 4. Okay. So if I ask you the square root of 1, it is 1 only. Square root of 2 also is 1, 3 also is 1. Understand that. Okay. So numbers from 1 to 3, the square root is 1. Next, 2 times 2 is 4 and 3 times 3 is 9. So numbers from 4 to 8, see 2 2s are 4, 3 3s are 9. So numbers from 4 to 8, the square root is 2. Okay. Next, 3 times 3 is 9, 4 times 4 is 16. So for all these numbers from 9 to 15, the square root would be 3. Now go to the next one. Okay. 4 times 4 is 16, 5 times 5 is 25. So numbers from 16 to 24, the square root will be 4. Now from 25 to 35, see 5 5s are 25, 6 times 6 is 36. So 25 to 35, square root will be 5. Now 6 times 6 is 36, 7 times 7 is 49. So 36 to 48, the square root will be 6. Now 7 times 7 is 49, 8 times 8 is 64. So 49 to 63, square root will be 7. Similarly, 8 is 64, 9 9 is 81. 64 to 80, square root will be 8 and 9 9 is 81, 10 10 is 100. So 81 to 99, square root will be 9. Okay. Now let's do some practical exercise, okay, before we go any further. Can you guess? I'll be asking you some numbers. You try to guess what could be the square root. Okay. So the left side, this thing are numbers and right side are the square roots. Like, can you tell me the square root of 18? 18, see 18 falls somewhere here, see, from 16 to 24. Yes, for all those numbers, square root will be 4. So the answer will be 4. Can you tell me square root of 38? Check out 38, see where it falls, 38. Yes. From 36 to 48, square root will be 6. So the square root for 38 will be 6. Okay, what is square root for 47? 47, see, that's again 6. See, 36 to 48. All these numbers, they fall under 6 only. Now, what is the square root of 72? Can you guess 72 where it falls? Yes. From 64 to 80, all those numbers, square root will be 8. Can you tell me the square root of 93? Yes, it's 9. All numbers from 81 through 99, the square root will be 9. Okay, now can you tell me the square root of 8? 8, see, 8 is 2. 19, can you guess 19? Yes, it is 4. Okay. So you must not, commit this to memory. In fact, you must know, if somebody asks 37, so you must be drilling in your mind. 4 times 4 is 16, no, 5 times 4 is 25, that's very less. 6 times 6 is 36, so next number is 37, so square root will be 6, something like that you have to catch up. Okay. So initially, we need to first, understand all this, okay. So you need to only say 1 times 1, 2 times 2 and so forth, and then try to catch these numbers. Now if suddenly somebody asks me 63, okay, I'll say 7. You know why? Because 49 to 63, square root will be 7. So I know 8 is 64, so one number less, so it will be in 7. From 64 to upper numbers, it will be 8. From 64 to 80, it will be 8, like that, okay. So first, understand this concept. Once you understand this, later I'll show you how to estimate the square roots. Okay, now if you have understood the table square number ending with, square ends with, and the square root table, the second one what I taught you. Now I can teach you estimating the square roots. Okay. Now, what is the square root of 576? I can guess the answer in just about 5 seconds. The answer is 24. That's it. I just wrote the answer directly. Now how? How did I do that? Okay, I'll explain you the secret behind it. Okay. Now, what you have to do is, now this under root 576, mind you, that means a question something like this. The area of the square is 576. Now mind you, initially we are taking only perfect square numbers, not for non-perfect square numbers. Okay, square roots are only for perfect square numbers. Later I'll show you how to find even for non-perfect squares also, but right now only for perfect squares. See, the area of a square is 576 units. So what are the sides? Okay, so that is given like this. Okay. Now, what we have to do, moving from right to left, group two numbers. So group 2, there's only one number there, underline 5 also separately. If you get 4 numbers, group 2, like if you get 25, 76, underline 76, underline 25 like that. If you get 5 numbers, group 2, 2 and 1 like that. Okay. So since we got only 3 numbers here, we first group 2 and then we group 1. Okay. Now, this underline, this right underline is only to check what the square number is ending with. That's all. You see the square number is ending with 6. So according to the table which I taught you at the very outset of this topic of estimating square roots, if the square number ends with 6, square root ends with 4 or 6. You all remember? 4 4s are 16, 6 6 are 36. You know, I have told you that, right? Yeah. So this underline, it is only to check what the square number is ending with, and with that what the square root will be ending with. So we estimated that square root must be ending with either 4 or 6. Now come to extreme left number. Now underline 5. Now what is the square root of 5? You all remember the second table what I gave you? Square root table. So 5. Now 1 into 1, do you get 5? No. 2 into 2, do you get 5? No. But 3 into 3, 9 is too high. So you guess it is 2. Okay. So that's it. So square root of 5 is 2. So that's it. So write 2 here and 2 here. That's it. One of this is the answer. Either 24 or 26. Now how do you guess? How do you pinpoint? How do you pinpoint whether it's 24 or 26? No, we can't toss a coin, like, you know, and say that if heads 24 or tails 26. Or we can't do that pinky pinky ponky, father had a donkey, and then whatever, wherever you get ponky, you can't tick that one. So you have to pinpoint it with logic. So what we have to do is, now 24 and 26, the middle number is 25. Okay, you must take 25 only. Why? Means there's a very easy technique how to square numbers ending with 5, which I taught you in the topic of squares. You all remember? Yes. Okay. Now 25 square is, you all know, numbers ending with 5, they always end with 25. The square will also end with 25. Now 2 next number is 3. 2 times 3 is 6. You all remember the technique? In a jiffy we can square a number ending with 5. Okay. Right. So you got 625. Now tell me, to get 576, shall I multiply more than 25 or less than 25? It takes a bit time for you to understand. Okay. Anyways, I'll give you many more examples. You understand it more better there. So to get 576, I must multiply less than 25. So that's how I pinpoint it as 24. So when you again square 24, you'll get 576 back. Let's see some more examples. Okay, now let's take one more example. Under root 3136. What is the square root of 3136? Okay, the area of a square is 3136 units. So what are the sides? Okay, now start from right. Moving from right to left, group two numbers. So group 2 and 2. Okay, now the right underline is only to check what the square number is ending with. The square number is ending with 4. So you can also check like this. 2 2s are 4, you are not getting 6. 3 3s are 9, you are not getting 6. 4 4s are 16, yes, you are getting 16, right? So write 6 there. Okay. Now 6 complement, 4 complement is 6. If you had noticed in the concept of like square number ending with and the square root ends with, they're all complements. So if the square number ending with 1 is 1 or 9, so 1 and 9 is complement. If it is 4, it is 2 or 8. 2 and 8 are complements. Okay. If it is 6, it is 4 or 6. 4 and 6 are complements. If it is 9, it's 3 or 7. 3 and 7 are complements. Okay. If you want, you can just rewind and then go back to the table and check out. Okay. Now, so 3, 1, 3, 6. So square ending with 6. So square ends with 4 or 6. Now come to extreme left number. You understand 31, right? What is the square root of 31? Now you can check like this. 2 2s are 4. You're not getting 31. So 3 3s are 9. No, you're not getting 31. 4 4 16. You're not getting 31. 5 5s are 25. You're not getting 31. 6 6 are 36. But that's too high. So think one number less. 6 one number less is 5. So that's it. One of this is the answer. So initially you have to do like this linearly, but later with a bit practice, you can guess it in just less than 5 seconds. So one of these is the answer, 54 or 56. Now how do you pinpoint it? How do you pinpoint and say that yes, this one of this is the right answer? So you have to square 55. Why only 55? I told you there's a very simple technique, okay, to square numbers ending with 5. So 5 next number is 6, 5 times 6 is 30 and the answer ends at 25. Okay, so 55 squares 30, 25. Now tell me with your logic, to get 3136, shall I multiply more than 55 or less than 55? So it will be more than 55. So that's how I guess it is 56. So that's it. So the sides will be 56. Okay, now let's see one more example. Under root 2809. What's the square root of 2809? Something like this. The area of a square is 2809. What are the sides? Okay. So start from the right. Underline two numbers. Okay. Now the right underline is only to check what the square number is ending with. It's ending with 9. If the square number ends with 9, square root ends with 3 or 7, right? Now come to extreme left underline. That's 28. Now what is the square root of 28? Okay, it's 5. I think you already know that. Okay. So that's one of this answer. 53 or 57. Now how do you check it is 53 or 57? Check out 55 square. Why only 55 square? Because there's a very simple technique how to square numbers ending with 5. Okay. 55 square is 30, 25. You know how? 5 next number 6, 30 and then 5 square ends with 25. Okay. Now tell me using your logic, to get 2809, shall I multiply more than 55 or less than 55? So obviously it should be less than 55. So I guess the answer is 53. So that's it. So the sides are 53. Okay, now let's see next example, what is the square root of 9801? Okay, so the area of a given square is 9801 units. So what are the sides? Okay, so moving from right to left, group two numbers. So 2 and 2. Okay, now the right underline is only to check what the square number is ending with. It's ending with 1. If the square number ends with 1, square root ends with 1 or 9. Now come to extreme left number, the 98. What is the square root of 98? 98 is 9. Okay, so that's it. So one of this is answer, 91 or 99. Now how do you pinpoint that? You have to check 95 square. Why only 95? I mean, why only we are checking if it's 21 and 29, you're checking 25. If it is 52 and 58, you're checking 55. If it is 63 and 67, you're checking 65. Why? Means it's a very simple technique how to square numbers ending with 5. Okay. So 9 next number is 10. 9 times 10 is 90 and the answer ends in 25. So 95 square is 90, 25. Now come on, tell me using your logic, to get 9801, shall I multiply more than 95 or less than 95? So I need to multiply more than 95. So that's how I guess it is 99. So the sides are 99. So using this method, we can find the square roots of perfect square numbers. Okay, now we'll see how to find square roots of non-perfect square numbers. Now, there's no meaning in asking square root for non-perfect square number. If it is not a square at all, then what is the meaning in finding the square root? Okay, when the number doesn't form a perfect square at all. Okay, but sometimes in some competitive exams or to check your logic, they may ask you a question like this. In that case, what you have to do? Now take a look at this. So we must first check out whether the given number is a perfect square number or not, and we don't know that. So we'll apply the general technique what I taught you just now. Okay, underline 2, 2. So square number ending with 1 means square root ends with 1 or 9. 62 square root will be like 7, yeah, it will be 7, right? So 71 or 79. Now how do you check whether 71 or 79? You must check 75 square. Okay, this was for the previous problem. Yeah, 75 square is 7 8s are 56 and 25. Okay, so tell me according to your logic whether it should be 71 or 79. It should be 79 actually. Okay, so we have to underline 79, but we don't know whether this number is a perfect square number or not. So what we have to do, you must square 79, and you know the a plus b whole square formula, that ab formula, ab square formula, what I taught you in the squaring technique. Okay, or you can apply the double into double crisscross method and you can square 79. Okay, now 79 square how much? Yeah, so we got the answer 79, right? 7 7s are 49, 6 3 double 126, and 7 9 9s are 81. So 1 8 goes up there, 4 13 goes up there, 62. Yes, so that means this is a perfect square number. Okay, so just in case if they, we have to check this. If you don't know whether the given number is a perfect square number or not, we need to first do it, and then we got 79, right? Then you have to check immediately. If you multiply 79 into 79, you must get 6241. If you don't get 6241, then that's not a perfect square number. Then how do you estimate for that? That I'll show you in the next concept. Okay, now let's see for non-perfect square numbers. Now when you see that number only, you can say that's not a perfect square number. You know why? Because the number is ending with 2. Square numbers, the perfect square numbers will never ever end with 2, 3, 7 and 8. But they gave you and asked you to find out whether this is a perfect square number or not. Okay, and though it is not a perfect square number, then approximately what would be the value, you must know that. Okay, so what you do is underline 2 2. Okay, so 76 and 82 separately you have to underline. So you know that square number is ending with 2, so there's no chance where you can write any number there. So keep it as x. X means unknown, it can be some unknown number. Okay, now come to extreme left, underline. Now 76 square root, what it is? It is 8. So answer is 8x. The answer may be varying from 80 to 89. Okay, one of this 80 to 89 will be one of this would be the right answer. Now how do you check that? Immediately check 85 square just to check whether the answer will be more than 85 or less than 85. So 8 times 9 is 72 and 25. So that means the answer has to be more than 85. So the difference, you've seen it's 7225, 7682. So don't try immediately for 86. Okay, try 87 immediately. Okay, you know the a plus b whole square formula, and then you can find the square of 86. Okay, 87. Now 8 times 8 is 64, 56, double is 112, 7 7s are 49. So 9, 6 and 11 you get 7 5 6 9. So even 87 is not up to the mark with 7682. Then try next number, that is 88. Okay, so we'll try square of 88. 88 square, it's 64, it's 128 and 64 using the a plus b whole square formula. Okay, so now balance, you get 6 out there and then 13 out there, you get 77. You're getting 7744, but that's too high. So the answer will be 87. Now you check what's the difference. So you can write 87, the answer will be 80, because this is not a perfect square number. You have to just approximate. Okay, so you can write 87.6, or you can also write 87.7, you can write 87.8, because you have to only approximate. But this is not a perfect square number at all. So you can write any of these numbers. You can write 87, but finding 87 is important. Okay, later you can estimate, like you can write 87.6 or 0.7 or 0.8, just to get it close to that number. Okay, now let's take one more example in finding squares for non-perfect square numbers. Okay, so as I was telling you, there's no meaning in finding squares for non-perfect square numbers, but just in case in some competitive exams, or they want to check your logic and they give you a question like this, so you should be very swift in answering that particular question. Okay, so start from right, group 2 numbers. Now square number ending with 1, square ends with 1 or 9, 35 square root will be 5. Okay, 25, 35, you know? Yes. So one of these is the answer, 51 or 59. Okay. Now we don't know whether this given number is a perfect square number or not. We have to first check that. Now how do you check whether 51 or 59? Check out 55 square. You get 30, 25. So answer must be 59. Okay. So right, now we got 59. Now check by squaring 59 whether you will get 3511 or not. Okay. Now come on, a plus b whole square formula. Okay. 5 square is 25, 4 5 is 45, double is 90, 9 times 9 is 81. So 1, 8 and 3, 4, 8, 1. No. But we are getting more than that. Then what could be the answer? Okay. See, when we square 59, you got 3, 4, 8, 1. The answer is 3511. So it got to be 59 points because it's 3511, we got 3481. You can write 59 point, I told you, no, you can write 59.7, 59.8, 59.9. The difference is, nearly approximately like, see around about 481 means, yeah, it will not be so high. So you can just, see the difference, 3481, 3511. So just about 20 numbers or 30 numbers difference, okay. So what you have to do, you can write 59.3, 59.4, some number we can write like that. But finding 59 is very important. So that's very important, okay. So that's it. So using this method, we can also like find, estimate approximately what is the square root for non-perfect square numbers also. Okay, now let's go for slightly bigger numbers in estimating square roots, okay. For again the perfect square numbers only. Now previously I had been only teaching for only 4 numbers. Now we can extend it to even 5 and 6 and even bigger numbers also. Now here we got 5 numbers, okay. Now starting from right to left, okay, moving from right to left, group 2 numbers. So 2, 2 and 1, okay. Now the right underline is only check what the square number is ending with. Square number is ending with 6. If the square number ends with 6, square ends with 4 or 6, okay. Now what you have here is immediately come to the left number, extreme left underline, see there is 1 there, okay. So what is the square root of 1? It is 1, so write 1 here, okay. Now we got the units place number, we got the hundreds place number. We didn't get the tens place number yet. There should be some more number in between. We don't know what could be that number. So that number we assume it as x. X means unknown. So the answer would be 1x4 or 1x6. That means the answer may be 104 to 149 or 106 to 196. One of this could be the answer. Now how do you check that x? How do you find that x? Very simple. What you have to do is to find the x, just group this 2 numbers, connect these 2 numbers. Now find the square root of 153. What number into what number makes 153? Okay, so it will be 12. So 12 12s are 144 and 13 is 116, and that's too high. So if you can just commit to memory the squares from 11 to 30, it becomes very swift for you to guess the squares of certain numbers. Okay, so that's it. So 12 is the answer. So that's it. One of this is the answer. 124 or 126. Now how do you pinpoint whether 124 or 126? Check out 125 whole square, because the number in between 124 and 126 is 125. How do you check that? So 12 into 13, you get 156. Now how am I writing so fast? The answers using teen into teen multiplication method. Okay, next answer is in 25. Okay, so 125 square is 15625. Now tell me, to get 15376, shall I multiply more than 125 or less than 125? You can just guess and see. So this number is less. So you should be multiplying less than 125 to get this answer. So the final answer is, the square root of 15376 is 124. Okay, now let's postulate one more example. Okay, that's for 5-digit numbers. Okay, now moving from right to left, group 2 numbers. Okay, so 2, 2 and 1. Okay, right. Now the start from the extreme right underline. Okay, the right underline is only to check what the square number is ending with. It's ending with 9. If the square number ends with 9, square root ends with 3 or 7. Now come to extreme left underline. Now what is the square root of 2? Okay, it is 1. Okay, so that's it. So 1 here and 1 here. And the middle number we don't know. So now we got the units place and the hundreds place. But tens place we didn't get yet. So that we assume it as x. So answer would be 1x3 or 1x7. The answer may be from 103 to 193 or 107 to 197. One of this could be the answer. The only thing is you have to only find one number, that's it. Now how do you find the x? Very simply connect 246. Connect 246 and then check out the square root of 246. If you're perfect in squares up to 30, it becomes very easy. Now I know 15 square is 225 and 16 square is 256. So that's very high. So 15 will be the right answer. So I write here 5. So that's it. So one of this is the answer. 153 or 157. Now how do you check whether 153 or 157? Check out 155 whole square. So how do you do that? 15 into 16. 21 and 30. 2, 4, 0, 2, 5. So I am doing this all using the teen into teen multiplication method. Okay. Now tell me, using your logic, to get 24649, shall I have to multiply more than 155 or less than 155? So I have to multiply more than 155 because this number is more than this, more than 155. So I guess it is 157. So that's it. So using this method, we can also find the square roots of big numbers also.